I'm fortunate enough to travel, and the more I do, the more I realize how circumstantial life can be. Where you're born is often a determining factor in so many people's lives, and it shouldn't be. And to see what people just like you and I have to endure all over the world often leaves me in a conflicted headspace coming home. Watching what's been going on in Syria has been devastating on so many levels.
Refugees fleeing their homelands, the worst refugee crisis since World War II.
There are 3.6 million refugees displaced away from their torn homeland. Men, women, and children.
This is what refugees are facing, and the message couldn't be clearer.
We don't sleep. Look into my eyes. It's red. We don't eat. Just walking. Just walking.
We just want to live. We want to be safe. What have I done that I haven't been able to see my own father for so long?
We're often at the mercy of the media, and it's disconcerting not to know what's really going on. So when I got invited to Azraq, a Syrian refugee camp in Jordan, I jumped at the opportunity.
It doesn't matter what you believe in, it's not a religious thing. I believe the universe somehow puts us in a place where things can happen for a reason. You guys are all the type of people that subscribe to that, and I know your hearts wouldn't be here if you're not great people.
Are we on?
In partnership with this incredible organization that helps Syrian refugees, CARE, we set out from Los Angeles towards the heart of refugee relief, Jordan. This is a combination of everyone's iPhone footage and a couple of interviews I was able to do in an attempt to share one of the most life-changing experiences I've ever had.
Azraq camp is located very close to Saudi and Iraqi borders.
This is Jamil, our guide during the trip. He, like so many others, felt compelled to help any way he could.
I started my career in a bank for more than 5 years. That was a turning point for me. I decided to leave business work and moved to the fully humanitarian work.
You can see on your right hand side over there something white. These are the shelters of the refugees.
I'm the team leader. I'm leading 50 CARE amazing staff, and here I am sitting with you in the middle of the desert.
In the middle of a desert.
Yes.
CARE runs all the social services for the camp. They're a very important part of this camp.
And this is the most important camp for Syrian refugees. There are more Syrian refugees at this camp than any other in the world. Helping refugees can be an incredibly overwhelming and stressful job. Just think about the circumstances Jamil and other social workers deal with every day. And while everyone is here to help, it's also important to find a balance between helping those in need and making sure it's done effectively and safely.
Why is there barbed wire fences?
These are more organizational than it's related to safety and security.
I can't even imagine having to leave everything I've ever had behind. Never mind family members, brothers, sisters, parents, just leaving everything with nowhere to go. The craziest part is that there are still thousands of refugees stuck between their homes and refugee camps in a place Jamil called no man's land.
There is around 86,000 Syrian refugees stranded in the no man's land between Jordan and Syria. I don't know if you can imagine this, but I was there and I can assure you that there is nothing. It's like this.
Yeah, and there's no tents, there's nothing.
Not tents, there's plastic sheets. Tents is very luxurious there.
Yeah, right.
It's hard to put any of it into context. I was invited to the camp alongside other people in the industry to teach the kids about storytelling and giving them the tools to tell their stories, but more importantly, giving them the tools to express how they're feeling through art and to help take their mind off of the bleak reality of their current situation.
I'm just super excited to be here. And let's have fun.
Thousands of refugee teens live in the camp. The arts program CARE has created gives the youth a platform to tell their stories of displacement, loss, and grief, all through film. Seeing and hearing their stories was heart-wrenching. The real-life situations portrayed in the films that they had actually been through were unimaginable. And to think, they're only kids. And the fact that they find the courage to open up their hearts and relive these moments. Even digging up the occasional lighthearted laugh. It's a testament of not only how inspiring these families are, but also everyone who works at the camp. While Jamil's work had helped tens of thousands of refugee families, and we met so many amazing people, there's one kid that really stood out, Akram.
Yeah, Akram, he's the lovely Iron Man. Akram is one of the lovely characters in this camp. And his idol is Iron Man.
Iron Man.
And I hope he one day became an Iron Man and fighting in a good way in this life.
Akram's father died in camp. Taekwondo is his outlet.
What do you want to do? What are your dreams?
أصير بطل العالم تايكوندو.
But with no father figure, Akram is now the man of the house. His small family depends on his help.
She said welcome. Thank you. Shukran.
The space is pretty cramped, so for Akram, getting outside for a little exercise is often a welcomed escape.
So the eldest is kind of like the man of the house. Yeah.
Akram is like thousands of other kids in camp, juggling the delicate balance of being carefree and young and growing up too fast.
He has a different role also. And this different role was imposed on this kid. Like as a result of the crisis, a result of the war, as a result of many things. They are still children.
Right.
And they will stay children. And we should not give them more responsibilities and put extra burden on their shoulders to survive.
Regardless, Akram's fighting spirit and big heart compel him to help as much as he can, as often as he can.
Sometimes he go to the bread distribution site and bring the bread portion for the family. In the past, he was helping her carrying water.
His responsibility is to protect his family.
At the end of the day, with so many families on site, everyone works a little harder to make sure their tribe survives.
The total capacity of this camp is 130,000.
How many people per shelter about?
Up to 6. If there is a family's 6 members plus, then they will be eligible to take another shelter. You know, in this camp we have family size up to 14 members per family. You know? Yes, so we need above all to be fair, as much fair as possible for everyone in this camp. So we should make sure that everyone receive equally the services and assistance provided in this camp.
And the harsh reality is that sometimes families like Akram's have to make decisions they otherwise wouldn't have, all in the name of survival.
Well, somebody has an extra kid, right? So now they have another kid just to have another...
They may do so.
Yeah.
They may intentionally do so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jamil understands that. Within the confines of the camp, families will do whatever they have to try to create some semblance of a better life. He sympathizes with their struggle.
Because many families, they have like teenagers and we are talking about a very small place. They need privacy. They need to change their clothes, you know?
Yeah.
It's very basic, right? In such an environment, idleness is considered one of our main enemies.
Jamil is super passionate about understanding not only the physical, but the emotional obstacles these people are facing.
Fulfilling their time in a useful activities also keep igniting their hope.
CARE has made it their undying mission to give these refugees some sort of a normal life.
Food market, sports ground, hospital, health care center, our community centers, of course. Since 2 years, the management of this camp decided to construct stalls and shops for refugees.
There's restaurants, there's accessories, there's vegetables, there's clothing stores I saw. 50% of the shops are owned by Syrian refugees, 50% are owned by Jordanians, but 100% of the employment is of Syrian refugees.
This camp was established without electricity. Well structured, very nice looking, but
no electricity.
No
which
electricity.
Is crazy.
We inaugurated the first solar farm in the world in a refugee camp.
Solar panels doesn't mean the camp is without the occasional electrical kink.
The generator just went out.
This is very normal. The generator will heat up quickly, and there will be a disturbance from time to time.
We're hoping in a couple of minutes it's going to kick back in so we can finish watching the rest of the movie.
Once the power was back, we finished the film screenings and awards were presented to the refugees for their films. For my team and I, it was time to say goodbye.
3 days ago, before we got here, we really didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how many or what type of movies we would be making. We didn't know your stories or your heart. Making film is really all about your heart and the story. And you all have very beautiful hearts. And amazing stories. So please don't stop.
Jamil knows, just as we felt when we were leaving, that as much of a joy as it is to spend time with these children and their families, the end goal is bittersweet.
What's better and more strategic is to close the camps and return the refugees back to their homes. This is the good thing.
Woo!